Hello developers, and today we're going to look at creating views inside of our database. Now a view is a simple way of using a query and storing that inside of our database. Now I haven't looked at a lot of the select statements and creating queries yet, so we're going to keep this very simple, but creating a view is a real important thing because we often use this to access our data instead of using a direct table statement. It's a little bit faster, it's a little bit easier, and it tends to be read-only, so that if we have someone who doesn't know how to do and work with data, we're not going to have them messing things up. So let's show you really simple how we're going to do it. First, using SQL commands as part of the DDL, or data definition language, and then creating it within inside of HeidiSQL using that tool. Over here, I have my query language. I have my database selected, and all I'm going to do is say create view, and then I'm going to give it a view name. So I'm going to say email list as, and notice the create view and as all got all uppercase, they're in blue. That's because those are those keywords that MySQL understands. Now I'm going to have my select statement. So I'm going to say select email from customers. That's all I'm going to do. Real simple. Going to say run. So of course I have to spell customers correctly. I spelled it wrong. Can't believe I did that. But this is a common error you're going to see. Hey, I'm typing stuff fast. I mistype things. This lets you know, hey, this table order example.customers doesn't exist. You look and say, okay, did I have my correct database selected? Yes, order example. That's what I want. Did I spell customers correctly? No, I didn't. And so this is kind of how I take a look at these error messages and process them. So let me come over here, fix that. Notice now the color changed. That should have been a hint that, that kind of pinky purple color is a great way for me to see that, oh, it knows what this object is, customers. Let's try this one more time. Let's run it. And I get it. Okay, if I come down here, I can see, rows affected, all that type of stuff. We're good. Once again, I'm not seeing it show up over here. So where is it? Well, if I do this refresh, now I have an email list. Notice that my tables and my view looks a little bit different. Okay, so if I look on this view, come right here, I'm going to see email. It shows me what the select statement is. It's very simple. If I look at data, this is what I get from my view. It's just a simple list of just the email addresses. Now you might say, well, why would I want this? Well, maybe I take this and use this to generate an email list so I can go out and send people information. And this can be done for a variety of things. Maybe I have a sale that's going on I want to let people know about, or maybe I had a hacker breach. There's a lot of reasons to send out email. Some of them good, some of them not so good. And this is just a real simple way that I can create a view so I can get that access to that information. But how would I create a view inside of HeidiSQL using that tool instead of doing it like I did? Well, I'm going to come over here and order example, right click, create new, and I'm going to choose view. And I'm going to, once again, I'm going to give it its name. So what's the name? Well, my name is going to be orders created. This algorithm is undefined. We don't have to worry about that. We're not checking for updates. We're not going to worry about that. And over here, select. Okay, this is going to be, what is it going to be? We're going to say select star from orders. Notice that my keywords that are part of SQL get capitalized and are blue. Orders, which is a table, it's a known entity to this database, it gets that pink color. Then I'm going to say where, and I'm going to say status equals created. And click save. And I can look at this. Well, why would I do this? Well, if I look at my orders table and go to my data, you notice I have created, processing, shipping. So I have a couple different ways that my orders are being stored based upon the status. I come over here and look at its data. When I click on my view, here's the ones where it says created. So it's exactly what I was looking for. I have my information, all that I can see right here. If I want to bring in what customer it is, I could then go in and join those two. And we're going to look at more how we do that when we look at how do we query our tables later on. So that's going to be a future video coming up. This is just on creating views, and so we're keeping these pretty simple. So these views can get as complicated as any query that we're going to run. And we can combine multiple tables and joins and different things like that. We're just not wanting to get quite that complicated just yet. Just kind of showing you what you got to know. As you can see, even using the HeidiSQL tool, it's really helpful for me to know the SQL. So understanding SQL is important even when you have tools like this. Some of those WYSIWYG tools that are out there, they're great. They're wonderful time savers. I've used several of them in my own professional career. However, I've also built queries that are so complicated that the visual tool doesn't understand it. So I had to be able to go back to the SQL to know how to use it. So understanding the SQL commands is a real important thing. It's why we do that instead of just showing you tools like HeidiSQL, which is a great tool, don't get me wrong. I like it, I use it, but it's not the be-all, end-all. You have to still know SQL. And so understand these base concepts will really help you. Hopefully you found this helpful and enjoyable. Our next video, we're going to talk about how do we create things like store procedures and triggers and what does all that stuff mean. So we're going to talk about those in the next video. So be looking for that coming up.